Vidcom, bienvenue, welcome one and all to another one of my live streams. I'm very pleased to have with me today Richard Pendry of the Risk Consultancy. He is a gentleman that has made his career helping businesses and people avoid risk by identifying them in advance and creating mitigating circumstances so they can step aside of it. But today we're doing a quick reflection on where we've been. A recognition of the fact that we've had quite a year, and perhaps looking forward to the next year. Richard, welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Gareth. This has been a bit of a regular thing on the weekend for LinkedIn, but we're doing it on. This is our first time on Facebook, so. For those of you who are watching the live stream on Facebook, welcome. We've been talking about, for the last couple of months, we've been talking about my day job. And my day job is resilience. I'm a resilience consultant. And I talk about risk management, crisis management, and business continuity. But I want to get away from that today. I want to talk about some other stuff. And I want to talk about the forthcoming year. I want to talk about 2024. I really want to get stuck into that. So we're going to change. I don't want to seem one-dimensional, just talking about risk and keeping people safe all the time. We're going to talk about some other stuff today.
Well, do you know what? One of the wonderful things about your career to date is it's put you into a lot of situations that most people would find quite alien. A lot of which is all about dealing with sudden changes, craziness, stuff that you would never imagine on a day-to-day basis. And combine that with your imagination, it's kind of given rise to at least one book, Damascus Redemption, which is a stupendous, rip-roaring, how shall I put it, two stories in one, in parallel, almost in parallel, one in medieval Crusader times, the other one in modern day, and it's startlingly a good page-turning read. But there's more on the horizon, Mr. Pendry, I believe.
There is, because and this is what I want my my audience to help me with. I'm asking for some help, okay, in 2024, because I can be lazy, I can procrastinate, okay. I'm terrible at doing it, and I'm putting stuff, when I put stuff out there, out into the internet, out into the social medias and stuff like that. If I publish it, if I tell you about it,
right,
advertise it, then I've got to do it, right? So I want the help from the audience. Anybody in the audience today that wants to help me, please. Yeah, and what I'm looking for is basically a kick up the arse. Excuse my language, okay? Because I need to finish this new book. I need to finish this new book.
But Richard, you've always been known as a man of action. What's going on?
I know, but I mean, the thing is, there's so many things. I've got so much on at the moment, but I'm 2/3 of the way through this new book, which I know is going to be, I know is going to be a worthy successor to Damascus Redemption. I'm 2/3 of the way through. I haven't even got a title for the damn book yet. And
okay, shall we? I'll tell you what. Why don't we ask everybody what we need is ideas for titles? So I tell you what.
Yeah.
Can you give us a dust jacket synopsis of what this book is about?
Right. Yeah, that's good. Well, it's the same gang it's the sequel to Damascus Redemption, so it's got the same people, same characters in that. Mason is the lead character. Mason is ex-Parachute Regiment 22 SAS, but unfortunately go through bad times when his family dies, and he ends up being asked to leave the regiment because he turns to drink when his family dies. And right. he goes off to Iraq in the seedy world of the security industry back in 2007, and he's asked to run a mission which he knows is totally madness. He does it, and what happens is that his team get either killed, and a couple of them get kidnapped, taken away by some by the Iraqi police service, which are funded and trained by the Iranian military back then. And it's a story about how he overcomes everything against him to go back and get his guys out of captivity. But little does he know that he actually follows the same path, the same journey of a crusading knight who is running away from the Crusades because he's found something at the Siege of Acre, which would actually rock Christianity and would cause mayhem if it was this secret was released out into. So he has taken away the secret and he's trying to hide it, and Mason follows the same route.
So is it the same sort of? Is it the two timelines continued from Damascus Redemption?
Oh no! This one's a lot simpler. What this one is, and I can tell you the basic synopsis because it comes within the first couple of pages in the book. It's finding the tomb of Alexander the Great in Alexandria, which
so you've got Mason and a group of what shall we call them, mercenaries. They take on a job.
Well, no, we've got Mason, who's the mercenary type guy. And then you've got Rachel, who's the Marsh Arab girl, which he rescues and is his ward. We've got Professor Cornelius Gregory from Oxford University, who's the history thing. And just to, again, I'll use this terminology, this anecdote that's been given to the book, and it's Dan Brown's Da Vinci Code meets Andy McNabb's Bravo's 2-0. So these same characters, they are looking for the tomb of Alexander the Great in Alexandria. But here's the thing: there are a lot of cities called Alexandria, not just one. Every time that Alexander the Great conquered a city, his preferred name for it was Alexandria. So we are looking for the tomb of Alexander the Great in Afghanistan, because Roxanne, his wife, was from Afghanistan. She was from Bactria. Okay, so there's a story around that, and it's set in 2009, 2010, at the time of the presidential elections, which was I've spent 6 years out in Afghanistan. So it's all the stuff that I did out there. A lot of stuff in the first book is true, not the historical stuff. I made that up, but the contemporary stuff is based on true story, and likewise in this story, it doesn't flip back and forth. It's just got one narrative. But so that's where I am at the moment, and so I'm going to be giving regular updates on my Facebook and Instagram accounts on how I'm getting on with the book. So,
but we're looking for a title, aren't we? We've got a band of brothers. It all goes horribly wrong. Some people get taken away and held hostage. Some people die, and then from then on, it becomes a rip-roaring hunt for Alexandria. Which Alexandria? Yeah. Which has what of Alexander the Great? The tomb.
Yeah, the tomb of Alexander the Great. And this came to me. The story came to me when I was working in Greece back in 2015, 2016, and I was doing a job for an international NGO. And it was at the time of a lot of the migrants were coming over from Turkey and all the rest of it. And I had a great summer out there, flitting all over Greece, from Thessaloniki in the north to Lesvos in the east and Athens and all the rest of it. And I'm designing safe working practices for these NGO workers because they were being assaulted by the migrants. But that's another story. And anyway, and I visited the tomb of Philip, Alexander's father. Alexander's father was killed near Thessaloniki, a place called Agai. And I visited his tomb. And if anybody's in Greece and they want to visit that, it's like a bit like Tutankhamun. This tomb was undisturbed. And they've got all his armor, everything is there. The boy, yeah,
When was it
amazing.
discovered? When was it discovered?
It was discovered in the 1970s, I believe. But here's the thing: the political pressure on the archaeologists when they found it, for them to say that they'd actually found the tomb of Alexander the Great, and there was a great deal of pressure on these archaeologists to do that. But no, the evidence points to his father, and not actually Alexander. But yeah, fascinating. So there's that book. Okay. I've also got another business which I'm starting up next year, which is in the process, and which is developing an Airbnb company, because I like to have different revenue streams. And then there's my YouTube channel, which I started a little bit on this year, but really needs to be really needs a lot more effort. And my first big YouTube film is going to be on Collins Victoria Cross, one of the most decorated soldiers in the First World War. And he was from my hometown of Merthyr Tydfil. So I've been talking about this for a while, but next year I'm going to do it. And there's another two things, and I'll shut up. The SAFA, that's the Armed Forces Charity SAFA. I'm going to be doing their bike ride to D-Day in June. And also
what bike ride?
Yeah, bike ride, 3-day bike ride, going to be raising money for the military charity. That's going to be in June, beginning of June, D-Day. And then I'm also, my other main thing for next year is jumping into Arnhem. Never done it. Jumped into D-Day when I was in the military. Done a free fall parachute course, well, pre-COVID. Didn't really like it. That's a massive story. That's another story. That's crazy.
You don't like parachuting?
But anyway, I don't like parachuting. No.
You're the only para I've ever met that doesn't like parachuting.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a way for us to go to work, and we just put up with it. It was a horrible experience. Well, not horrible, but it was hard work. But yeah, well, so I'll be looking at jumping.
Parachutes come down a lot faster than modern skydiving parachutes. They really come down quick.
Yeah, correct. And when I did this free fall thing back pre-COVID, 2019, it's when you jump out military parachute, you're out. You have very limited maneuverability with your parachute.
No control. It's not like modern other ones. You can do all that.
Yeah. And of course, what was happening when I was jumping out there, I think it was like 15,000 feet or something mad. You know, you're there and you free fall, and then you're actually, you've got to fly this parachute in, and I was completely flummoxed, you know. And then the instructor was really annoyed at me because every time I came in to land, I would do instinctively a para roll, whether frontward, backward, because that my muscle memory would do that, and he would run up and scream at me and say, "No, you need to stand up and you need to do this." But anyway, so I'm going to be doing the Arnhem jump in September. I don't know how yet.
I'm not receiving comments at the moment for some odd reason. I am receiving a love heart from you from Amy Woodruff.
Amy and I were out in Afghanistan. Lovely lady. We were part of the Hash House Harriers in Kabul.
The Hash House Harriers. That sounds like a story all to itself.
Yeah. Amazing group of people. Hash House Harriers. We would run around or walk around Kabul city centre. They did 500 hashes and had hardly any problems. You know, these were Western people walking around the city of Kabul, and and raising money for charity. And
what's a hash?
Hash House Harriers. It's part of the British Empire type thing, and it was designed. The Hash Harriers were a group of people that would meet, on a Friday if you were in a Muslim country, or on a Saturday if you were, in another country, and they would go out and they would have a run. Hash House Harriers, Harriers and the Hares, and like doing school, and they go for a cross country run, and then they come back and get drunk. You know, it's fine.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure it sounds very safe. You probably did more damage when you were getting drunk than when you were doing the running. This
is what people would say to me, is that, wow, you go to these dangerous places, but from outside, you know, from what you hear in the media, what you read and all this, it can be completely different to actually when you're there. And you know, the vast majority of people in these war-torn countries, post-conflict countries, that's all they want is stability. So all they want to do is ensure that the kids go to school, they've got a job, and they can do it in safety.
Of course,
And
that's what everybody wants to do. I think that's
exactly.
the vast majority. It's
Human
only
goals.
it only takes one or two bad apples to spoil it for everyone else. Look, can we end this on a positive note for 2024? I mean, as I've said before, although the risk consultancy is the day job, 2024 will be an exciting time for this new book and also for all the other bits and pieces every day.
Yeah. I've got 2 months. I've got January and February, which are going to be relatively quiet, and then March, my planning permission gets granted, and I'm into that construction side of it. But hopefully, by the end of February, beginning of March, I would have actually got the first draft of the book. Okay, so I'm going to be. So this is an invitation to all you guys out on Facebook that I'm going to be hosting regular Facebook updates on the book and talk about what I've been writing about, because it has a lot of it involves a lot of different stuff. Like the first book, I mean, you know, we're talking about early religion and politics in Iraq and blah blah blah. And, you know, I go down some rabbit holes, hopefully in a good way. And some other bits and pieces, because I'm continually doing research for my YouTube channel, which again I want to really push. There's some great stories out there that I want to do, and so it's going to be a really good 2024. And the thing is, to put this into perspective, I've got so many. You know, I've just turned 62. Okay,
wow.
Thinking back on this, my grandfather died when he was 59, and he died from angina 2 days after the Aberfan disaster in October 1966. Wow. My grandmother said that really sent him over the edge. And anyway, my father died when he was 64 of cancer of the throat. He was a schoolmaster. Right. And so I look at myself and thinking, I see so many people winding down, you know, they hit this retirement age and they've had enough and all the rest of it. No, not for me. I'm with you. I'm with you. I can retirement. No. For me, every time I see anybody around me retire, they slow down and diminish, and they become very boring. I don't wish to do that. I like you. I want to keep busy. I've got books in me as well. I want to start pushing them out too. Look, Richard, it's been a rare privilege to work with you. Can I just say one thing before we go? One last thing, and it'll be my last, Gareth. If you were looking for a New Year's resolution, join me. I'll put it out on socials. I'm going to be doing a fast, okay? A 7-day fast in January to get rid of all this Christmas indulgence.
I'll do it with you. I will, Richard. I will do it with you. I will do it with you.
Brilliant. We're going to do a 7-day fast just to get rid of all that stuff, make ourselves healthy, concentrate on going forward for 2024. So we'll do it we'll talk about it as a diary on the log, what they call it, on a daily basis going forward.
We'll journal it. We'll journal.
A journal. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Thanks, Gareth. We're going to be doing a journal. So so join me. Look out on Facebook for it. We're going to be doing a lot more on Facebook now and the other socials. So get rid of that Christmas fast in January.
So I thank everybody for spending their time with us this year. It's been quite a journey. I'm lucky I've only been viewing it from the outside, Richard, because you've been through some ups and downs. But what I would say is that 2024 is looking bright, both for me and for you, actually, Richard. And all I would say to everyone is, remember, at this time of year, and I say this to everyone, take it slow. Don't jump to any conclusions. This is a time where everybody feels so pressured. It's when they make rash decisions that they regret for the rest of their lives. Take it slow. Put a pin in whatever anger or upset you're feeling right now, and deal with it in January when things have calmed down a bit. Try and find your way to having a pleasant Christmas and New Year. And I wish everyone good mental health. Bye-bye now.